type of social work that I do, the type of position that I have, gives me the ability to work from home and work in the office because I'm not in the field anymore. I done moved up, y'all. I'm a vet. No, I'm just playing, but the position that I'm in is just like a really good blessing. The type of social services that I do in the position that I do now, I still provide like pretty much the same services, like helping clients find housing, helping clients find rental assistance, utility assistance, connecting them to mental health care, etc. All that good social service stuff that we do. So I am going to be talking about how to prevent burnout in the work field of social work. And pretty much, even if you're not a social worker, I think that you could still apply some of these tips, that some of the things that I'm going to say. I'm actually not necessarily going to be doing like all different type of bullet points about like what you can do to prevent burnout. I'm just pretty much just talking today. This was just on my mind the other day as I think about more topics to push out and to give you to us social workers. So basically, I feel like the number one thing that social workers should do to prevent burnout, especially since we are dealing with so much, I don't think the world understands the type of things that social workers go through. I don't think people really can really relate to the type of issues and things that we hear in the workplace at our job. And honestly, I mean, I don't really expect people to, especially if you're not a social worker. But social workers, mental health professionals, counselors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, but we all experience we take on so much. We hear story after story after story, okay? We have people that have been through so much trauma, okay? I have been a social worker for over 10 years. I've been a volunteer case manager where I provided services to persons that were victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. And I have counseled people that were victims of that domestic violence, and I had to counsel people that were perpetrators, that were the abusers. And that, you know, counseling abusers can be a very difficult thing, especially when you're counseling victims of domestic violence. I don't know, it was just a crazy situation that I had to deal with in the agency that I was interning at. When I was going through graduate school, I had to counsel abusers and victims that were abused, and I had to play both roles professionally, and that can be a lot, especially since I'm a victim of domestic violence and I've had my own personal experience since with domestic violence. And had I not dealt with my trauma or my issues, it would have been hard for me to counsel those particular clients. But the number one way you can prevent burnout in the work field, in the field of social work, is prioritizing. As simple as that may sound, prioritizing. Get your priorities in order when you are a social worker, because we deal with so many clients. Me specifically, when I came into the field, I was a peer support specialist. I had about 17 to 21 clients when I started that position, and I did so much. I housed clients. I took clients to Section 8. I helped clients fill out their applications. I took clients to their doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, and I had to wait there until the appointments was over. I've accompanied clients grocery shopping. I'm talking about going to the Secretary of State, going to the public aid office, to the DHS office, you name it. I done it. I done been there. And when you have a caseload like that, and to some of you all that's watching this video, that might be minimum. I know some social workers in some social worker settings that have over 25 clients. And if you're in the Department of Human Services, you have way more clients than that. So y'all workload is crazy. But the type of work and the type of clients that I was providing services to is a little bit more different than social work in the Department of Human Services or any other agencies, because I specifically dealt with clients that were diagnosed with severe mental illness, and we had to work with those clients that when they were symptomatic and when they weren't really well, because that was just like the position that I do. It was a requirement of the position. But you take on so much, so prioritize. Okay, let me get back to that, because I can go on and on and on and get sidetracked. But prioritize. You know the amount of clients that you have. You know what your caseload is. What I typically do is on a Monday, I get in, you start, this darn car thing, so sorry about that, y'all. My phone had dropped. So on a Monday, get in, write down your caseload, everybody on your caseload, first and last name. Okay, I want you to write out the days that you normally see that client, what the appointment is that they have coming up that week or next week. Write down the goals that you and the client have with each other. And if it's something that you have to do for the client, like if you have to process a client's rent, submit check requests so their rents or utilities could get paid, or if you have to advocate with them with a particular agency about something you just have to advocate for them about, write that down per client. Okay, another thing, when you're prioritizing, make sure you're speaking with each and every individual client that you are case management. See what days works best for them, for you all to meet, for you to home visits, or for you all to go out in the field to do what you need to do, so you can get a flow. So you can be like, okay, I meet with Emily on Wednesdays, I meet with John on Fridays, I meet with Becky on Thursdays, and I meet with X on Monday, Bill, you know what I'm saying? Just get a system and try to keep that system at flow as best as you can. That is what worked for me, and I had to learn the hard way, because when I first came into the field, I wasn't doing all that. I was just taking whenever a client called me and whenever they needed something to be done, I was just, okay, I'm come pick you up tomorrow, we're gonna go do this tomorrow. Or they could be calling me at the last minute, and I could probably already have something, my schedule could already be planned out for the next couple of days or the next day, and the client may need something. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So the issue that I had was, yes, I'll do it, I can do it, we can go do it, I'll do it, I'll submit it. And it was just random appointments that I would be taking up, but it would be starting to interfere with my other appointments, and it would be driving me crazy, because I'm trying to do so much for so many clients unplanned, and you just can't do that. You cannot do that in a social worker field. And to me, I thought that by me doing that, it was making me a boss social worker, or I don't know. I just don't know what I was feeling when I was doing all of that stuff. But when I came into the field, I was younger. I was younger, and I had this energy, and I had the passion, But when I came into the field, I also had babies. When I had got my first job in the field, I had already had 2 kids under 5, and then I finished grad school pregnant with my last baby, and 6 months after that I started my first job in the field, and I was 20, how old was I? 29? I think I was 29, okay, when I went in the field. So, I had a different type of energy, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm almost 40. I'm 9 months away from being 40, and the energy is different. So I was busy at home, and you can't be scattered. You just cannot be scattered being a social worker. You got to have things in order. Even where I work at now, my caseload, it varies because I work at a nonprofit legal aid clinic, law firm. Pretty much we have 3 different practices, and our cases they change like this, you know what I'm saying? We get clients every week. The lawyers do. I don't always get clients every week because sometimes some of the cases that the clients are dealing with is more legal, and that client might not need social services. So my caseload is a little bit different, so I don't get that many cases. But yeah, prioritize. You have to. I'm not saying that it's not okay to take last minute calls or last minute appointments, but you got to keep that stuff at a minimum so you do not wear yourself out. Okay. Next thing that I want you to do to help you that I think would help you to prevent burnout or prevent you from wanting to give up, because there have been times where I was like, man, we're being a social worker made me sick, or I was starting to feel sick because it was just emotionally draining. And it's because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was doing too much. So I was taking a lot of cases, some situations personal. And you gotta be real careful and not doing it as a social worker. When I say I was taking it personal, meaning that when clients would get mad at me or mad about something, or say something that's just off the chain to me or about me, or report me to my supervisor or whatever the clients may do, it just varies. It's just not just one thing. But if they said something to me about me not being a so good social worker, or me being a social worker that's not really trying to help them and advocate them, that will bother me. That bothered me. And I would take those things personal, and I would start to have these thoughts like, oh, I'm not a good social worker, or maybe I'm not doing my job the way I'm supposed to, or maybe I'm really not servicing them or advocating them the way I should be. But if you knew me, I am the #1 advocate for my clients. Like, I go ham. Like, I would try. Look, let me tell you something. Even though like, I wouldn't say that you should do this as a social worker, but I done gave up money for clients to. Now, don't get this twisted. Now, would give up. Like, let's say a client didn't have a check and they needed an apartment and they needed to pay for an application fee and they didn't have the money on hand. I would give the client the loan, and agency will pay me back. Let's just put it like that. Okay, this is how I worked for one agency they allowed me to do that. I don't even know if they supposed to do that, but yeah, like, there's been situations where a client didn't have money and I would help pay for the application fee, and the agency would give me the money back. Okay, or mama didn't have groceries, they get her link card that day. I'm giving them a certain amount of money to get the food, and the agency is reimbursing me my money. That's just how we did that. So that was a sacrifice for me sometimes. Shoot, I had 3 kids, and to just come out of my own pocket to help out clients when they are in need, to make sure they get housed and make sure they get an apartment, because apartments go like that. Especially when it's an affordable apartment, and I'm sorry about that light, y'all. When it's an affordable apartment, they go fast. You know what I'm saying? So I would do anything to make sure my clients find stable housing. I would call agency at the agency to get whatever it is that my client need. I will work overtime. I will work past hours. I will work during my vacation when I'm supposed to be home. It's just so much stuff that I used to do that I used to just be out of order, and it's just not healthy. So try not to take stuff personal, because what you have to remember is a client is trying to get their need met. If you don't remember anything from this video, take this. A client is trying to get their needs met. So whatever emotion or whatever feelings or whatever energy that they are projecting on you, is because they're trying to get something. And sometimes us as social workers, we can't do it all. We're not genie in the bottles. We can't make things happen all the time. We can advocate for our clients. We can find money laying around in the office for our clients for petty cash to get something paid, or to get a particular need met. We can do so much for our clients, but it's the ones that don't, when they can't get their needs met, when something isn't working, when something you're doing is not helping them, then they can get in their feelings about that. And you can't take it personal, because that's just the field. That's just how it works. And just try not to take stuff personal. When clients, they're going through a lot. They're going through a lot of trauma. They have already dealt with so much, and their feelings a lot of time is not even about you. It's about something else, somebody else, and you may have. So yeah, just try not to take stuff personal. So when clients say certain things to me or do certain things to me, a lot of times I just sit back and I'm just silent. I done got so humble, because I'm like, they didn't get their need met, or I wasn't able to solve that problem, and they felt like I didn't come through. But little do they know, I done did 50 million things behind the background scene to help them to get their need met, and it just didn't work. So that's just the way it is. So try not to take things personal. And dang, this video went way longer than what I had expected it to go. The last thing I would say is work on being humble. Work on being meek in this field, because being a social worker is not for the weak. You have to be. It's an easy job. It's an easy job, meaning like, documenting case notes, going to, helping clients to get their appointments. That stuff is easy. It's the energy and issues that clients have sometimes. It's the emotions. It's client situations that could be a hard part. Some of that stuff can be hard to swallow at times. So that's what can make this job hard, but you got to have tough skin. So I would say, to prevent burnout, work on being humble. Okay, pray. If you're not a spiritual social worker, if you don't believe in a higher power, I believe in Jesus Christ. You got to get to know him. You got to get to know the Creator, okay? That's gonna be what's gonna help you to get through here. You know what I'm saying? It was God. It was nothing but God that has helped me to endure the things that I have endured as a social worker. You gotta be humble. There's gonna be moments in your career and seasons where you're gonna have to take hits, where you're gonna feel like you being abused, okay? And it's just I don't even really know how to explain it, but just work on being humble. It's gonna be some days where you're gonna have to say, not today. I am not going to allow this situation to bother me. I'm not today. You have to have moments in the field and while you at work where you're going to have to say, not today. Okay? There's going to be moments where you're going to have to challenge your clients, and that's not going to be comfortable. Challenging them in a professional way, that's not going to be comfortable. There's going to be moments in your career where you're going to have to tell clients, Kim, I'm hearing everything that you're saying, but the way you're communicating to me right now about this situation is you're being aggressive, you're being loud, and we can't get anywhere. We're not going to be able to communicate like this today when we're using unhealthy language right now. So if you're on the phone with a client, you want to say, Kim, I can't communicate with you when you're hostile like this, or whatever energy they're giving you, and I'm going to choose to decide to hang up the phone. Okay? And try to bring that to a healthy close as best as you can, but just work on being humble, and take care of yourself. Okay? So get your priorities in order. Prioritize in the workplace. Don't take stuff personal. Remember, the client's trying to get a need met, and work on being humble. It's not worth the hassle of you getting all stressed out when you can easily resolve matters just by being humble. Just choose not to have a bad day. Just choose not to allow the work stuff to get to you. So gotta make a choice. So hope this helps. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, family? Y'all stay healthy, social workers, and take care of yourself. Make sure you use your personal days, your sick time to have to take care of yourself, because we need that. Y'all have a blessed day.